So this is Tabaka and her mother, Quidesha, listens to Queen Mother Speaks.
Odessa. Okay.
Quodesha.
Let me go to brand, and it's time to start. Let me go to one person.
Todo este parte de un plan. Esto es matarte con flow animal. Esto es para comerte este pan. Muévete al ritmo del bam, bidi bam. Bam, bidi bam, bidi bidi bam, bam.
Greetings. This is Nana Efua Adadzewa the first. I'm the Queen Mother of Mankessim traditional area in the central region of Ghana, West Africa, also known as Teresa R. Kemp, and you are tuned in live to another great episode of Queen Mother Speaks. I am so excited to be with you. As you know, there's many colds and COVID and so much going on in the world today. And I have been traveling and safely returned to do this workshop with you all today. So many people have lost funding due to COVID. Their businesses are dipping, and some people want to start businesses, and there's students that want to go to school, but their family have lost their jobs. So we're glad to have you here tuned in this morning to Queen Mother Speaks. At this time, I'm going to bring in the host of Queen Mother Speaks, none other than Professor Dashanaba King, my best friend, buddy, and pal. And you know, I'm so thankful for this platform this morning because she's located in Nairobi, Kenya, and I'm here visiting one of my children in Columbus, Ohio, in the United States. So wherever you tuned in, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thank you for joining us. Queen Mother, go ahead and greet everyone.
Thank you, and welcome to the Queen Mother Speaks show.
Yes.
Every Wednesday, every week, live, 5 p.m. from Nairobi, Kenya, 10 a.m. in New York City. If you happen to be in India, I think the timing there is about 7:30 p.m. Don't ask me how they get 30 on a whole number, but the time varies from country to country, continent to continent. Thank you for tuning in today. We're so happy you're here. And let me just say thank you because last week, we got so many responses for the workshop.
Yes.
Okay. Grant Writing USA Focus. And then Nana found herself in a place where it was having inclement weather. And at that point, we decided, let's not try to do it in bad weather because it will go in and out. Let's just wait. And because we were patient enough to wait, and you were patient enough to wait and come in today, thank you for being here. We have a great show planned for you. Learn everything you need to know about grant writing, USA Focus. Ask any question.
Yes.
Nana, back to you.
So, Queen Mother is a very giving person. But after the pandemic and many adversities that we all suffered around the world, people found themselves without the ability to fund projects in the community, in their churches. Artists were struggling because venues had closed. Some are getting reopened, but they don't have, many people think they don't have the same level of funding. So, Dr. Hari, will you talk to them a little bit about the impact of COVID on businesses or on artists that you know of and organizations?
Thank you for that question, Nana. Now, as we all know, COVID is not the first major, let me say, fever, if you will, to hit America or any country for that matter. We've had the blue plague years and years ago, and it was new, and we didn't know what to do. We've had the onslaught of HIV, which caught us all off guard, which also affected the entire world.
Yes.
And we didn't know what to do, and we lost a lot of people and a lot of things. And now here we have this thing called COVID. And being that I'm in the field for business and entrepreneurship, I get so many entrepreneurs who come to me for counseling and business advice. And
Exactly.
I will say to you that 9 out of 10 of them have lost their major clients or they are no longer in business at all.
Yeah.
No longer in business. So they're walking around with a long face and wondering, why me, Lord? Why me, Lord? So, what I want to say to you around that, why me, Lord, is first off, get off your high horse and
Yep.
begin to thank the Lord for having breath in your body. There are many who woke up this morning and did not have the breath of life. So let's start with what we have. Let's
Yes.
be thankful for what is. So we
Mm-hmm.
thank you for life, health, strength,
Mm-hmm.
activity of our limbs, being
Yes.
clothed in our right mind. And then you
Absolutely.
begin to ask and thank God for your creative juices flowing. Because I will say to you that during the COVID period, okay, a lot of our creative abilities, we felt like they were gone. And I will say, even for me, over this last 2 months, I've been feeling like my get up and go, my giddy up and go, done gone.
Yep.
What I've been praying for is, Lord, please give me the strength, the courage, the will, the desire, and the commitment, and a renewness of my mind, heart, and spirit, so that I can do the things that you've given me to do on planet Earth. Now, if those are the things that I've been doing that I'm not supposed to do anymore, then lead and guide me in the way that I should be. And when I
Yes.
say that to you, I'm not just saying it and waiting for God to just pour something down on me. Oh, no. Oh no, he gave me a mind. He gave you a mind. So this is the time for us to take our minds and go research and take a look at some other things that you might want to do. Because if what you were doing is not working. So back to people in business, COVID, and business falling out of the box. It's true. A lot of major firms shut down some of their divisions in other countries as well as in other states throughout the United States. Whether you were a person who was a Java house that may have closed, or in the states, I think they call them. They have another name for the big
Starbucks.
coffee shop. Well, Starbucks. Some Starbucks offices have closed. Some clinics medically have closed. University have closed down campuses. They've released professors from their duties. They've shortened the amount of offerings that they may have on a course. And people in business, their clients have said, no, we can't go on. In some cases, the clients have said, we can't even pay you what we owe you now. So it's just been a very, 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 very hard time for businesses, both large and small. And as they say, if the big businesses get a cough, then the small businesses have the flu. So we've been having the flu for over a year. Having said that, one of the ways to turn the situation around, ladies and gentlemen, is for you to get into grant writing, for you to seriously think about, what can I do now? What skills do I have? How can I turn the tides? How can I make it work for me? And we're saying you can write grants for things that you want to do. There are grants that are available for individuals, grants for companies, grants for NGO, and grants for corporations. So the field is wide open. You just have to decide to do some work and some research and find out what's next for you. I know for me, during COVID, things changed around as well. I was doing consulting and doing a lot of training and teaching. But because of COVID, we needed not to be out there in the marketplace. And as I was looking around and asking for what's my next thing to do, lo and behold, what fell into my lap was this thing called Queen Mother Speaks. I had no idea that I would be doing it. I didn't even know what it was that I would be doing. And it only began to come to me through thought, through placing the thoughts in here and having me to work out. That's the way it works. So I don't want you to say, I don't want you to sit back and say, well, I'm just waiting on the Lord. No, the Lord, my dearest, is waiting on you to do some research and to do some praying and make some decisions about what it is next for you. Because as long as there's breath in your body, life isn't over. So stay tuned for what we've got for you today, which is the USA Focus Grant Writing Workshop, and learn how you can apply some new techniques and some new skills and set your business back on fire. Thank you, Nana.
You know, when I hit those patches where things don't go as I planned, when
Uh-huh.
uh, I've got a plan and it's not working, or I have a health issue like I did last November and I did it a few years ago, but I've had a series of health issues unexpected because I was always healthy, always athletic, never
Mm-hmm.
had health challenges. You know, I'm working out, competing, winning, and this is a way of life for me. Then I settled down, became a mother,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'm active with my church. I'm working with you, and I didn't have any cares. But I find myself in these times when I call it a pivot. I've
Mm-hmm.
stood still, but I can't go back where I was. I'm not sure where I'm going, and I know that I'm in a pivot. And this
Okay.
is a good time for you to research and write grants. So we're going to jump
Mm-hmm.
into it. I wanted to say hello to Estelle. I want to say hello to Christine and all of our viewers. Please let us know that you're watching. We have a lot of viewers, those of you who tune into the show, but you don't sign in and let us know that you're watching. Don't worry, we're not putting you on the spot. I did want to thank, I believe it's Tabaka's mother, for watching Queen Mother Speaks and telling her daughter about the grant writing program. I did get your email. I've been on the road. And as Queen Mother said, some of the places I go, I've had internet and connectivity issues,
Mm-hmm.
but we will be sending out the grant writing booklet. If you requested the Africa Focus Grant Writing Workshop, we'll send that to you. If you're requesting the USA Grant Writing Workshop booklet, it will be available. And for those of you that may not be tuned in to Queen Mother Speaks, there are some of you in the world, we are going to make sure that I put it with books that are on Amazon.com as an ebook, and you'll be able to access it there. Okay, so one of the
But the
questions,
only way, ladies and gentlemen,
go
that you
ahead.
can receive the workbook is you do have to register through the
Mm-hmm.
email, which is
TRKEMP at plantationquilts.com. I'll go ahead and put it in the chat.
okay.
TRKEMP at plantation, plantationquilts.com. That is my website. Many of you know that I'm a master quilter and my family worked on the Underground Railroad. So it's TRKEMP at plantationquilts.com. And here it comes right here. There we go.
Very
So if you
well.
send us an email, uh, then we will get that booklet out to you. Just say USA or Africa Focus Workshop. We did the Africa Focus Workshop earlier this month on the
Right.
Queen Mother Speaks show.
Mm-hmm.
And we had some people who were students. So one of the things that helped me is if you let me know, are you a student? Are you an organization? Like there are educational grants for students. There's grants from many different sectors of a community and organizations if you're an artist. So
Yes.
let's see. I think this is it. Yes. Oops. So we want to know, are you an individual, artist, or organization? Or are you even a startup? Because many people during the pandemic did pivot and they're a startup. So normally for grants, they want you to have at least a year of business experience. And Dr.
Mm-hmm.
Hari, what could some of those reasons be if you're funding a grant? Why would you want them to show that they've been in business or been doing their arts or craft at least a year?
For one, they want to know that they know what the hell they're talking about
Mm-hmm.
and they have some experience in
Mm-hmm.
what it is they're speaking of. All
Right.
right. Because often a person will ask for something they haven't done anything. They
Right.
may not even be sure. But as we are saying now, we're making this information available to you. And what you have to do is to go to Nana's email address and send her yours. Please
Yeah.
don't write me and tell me to send her your email address. I'm going to tell you right now, it ain't happening. What you must do is simply follow the instructions. And that is to go to her email, which she's put on screen, and
Mm-hmm.
send her your email. It's that simple. But again, they want to know that you know what you're talking about. Let
Right.
me say that People are very good at saying what they want, but they haven't taken any time to think through anything. They said they want to start a business. What business? Well, I don't know what business I really want to be in. All right, but you want money for it.
Right.
Now, who do you think is going to give you money for something that you don't even want? Let's say you do know what business you want to go into. Let's say you want to go into social media marketing. What does that really mean? What aspect of social media are you going to focus on? Across the board? Or are you going to be specific in a specific type of social media?
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to stick with a particular platform? Are you going to do all Twitter? Or are you going to spread yourself across many networks?
Right.
And even so, if you're doing Twitter, what
Yeah.
is your subject area for that which you are doing? And have you researched online? Oh, Lord, where can I tell you, ladies and gentlemen? There is so much online for you to
Yeah.
do what you want to do. What you have to do is to apply yourself.
Right.
So you have to read. You
You know,
have to read.
and
You have
benchmarking.
to read. Yeah, you have
Benchmarking
to
is
read.
key. We want to see that you've done market research for your field. We want to know who the top players are. Have you considered what do they do, why they've been in business so long, why they have a market share of people, and what are some of the other things that when you want to see that that they have some knowledge of the field so that they don't just go in business and fail within 6 months, or that today you're doing this and tomorrow you're doing that, and today you're doing this and tomorrow you're doing that. Now, with that said, let me also say, Queen Mother, I am known to wear quite a few hats, but the thing is, I'm older. So I have been doing this a long time, and I don't do all of it at the same time. I may do something for 10 years, and then I may add something else. Or my hobbies or my passions can become a business at times because people will hire me to come do stuff with the things that I make. Soap, candy, jelly, butter, teaching canning workshops, tie-dye workshops. And all of it is useful because I do historic presentations in museums. So when I have a museum or an exhibit open, then we have all these moving parts. We have artists that come in and make their things on site and sell it.
Yeah.
We have the tie-dye classing. We have the book sales. We have a gift shop. And over time, I make a lot of things that can go in the gift shop. I use local vendors. I use international vendors. So it's important that people have your information where you can find it. So one of the most important things now that we have such a good online presence is that if you're asking me for a grant, don't show the partying pictures, don't show bathroom pictures, don't show those types of things online and want me to take you seriously for funding. Because one of the things the funders are going to do is they're going to Google it.
They're going to Google your site.
Yes.
They're going to look you up online.
Yes.
And if you are online, doing the wiggle wiggle, or if you're online wearing little or no clothes, they see that as well. So
Yes.
let's just be very clear that whatever you do online stays there.
Yeah. And people have different biases because there are grants for people dropping it like it's hot. Whatever,
Yes.
For hip hop, for online, for fashion, for anything that you can imagine, there is somebody that has left some money for you to do it. Do keep in mind when you're applying, make sure that you and the funders are a good fit. That's what we're saying in there, because we don't care if you do the wiggle wiggle. We don't care if you're dropping it like it's hot. We don't care if you're wishy-washy in business today. And right, because you're creative. And we want the creative juices in the communities flowing. So the secret of grant writing is strong proposal, clear, concise, now compelling. One of the things that Dr. taught me, she and I have worked together for years, is you need to get whoever's doing the funding to buy into what it is that you're doing. So go ahead and tell us, how would you put that?
Well, you have to get them to buy into your story. Really.
Yeah.
You could be talking to a friend, a neighbor, a classmate about a particular situation. And no
Yes.
matter what it is you're telling, the person listening or the reader has a choice to believe or not believe, or to buy in or not buy in. So the main thing you want to do with the grant writer is get them to buy into your story.
Mm-hmm.
And the way you get to do that is by telling a story of what is. So practice what is it that makes your story compelling? Or practice making your story compelling. For example,
And you call that an elevator speech?
well, the elevator speech is one that you do, that one that you do for 3 minutes, that you can always do no matter what. There's a 1 minute or 2 minute and a 3 minute
Mm-hmm.
elevator speech. But we're going beyond that one, T, to
Yes.
where you get a person, you can time your presentation, but first
Right.
get your story down.
Right.
So let's talk about one I've done. That's called Queen Mother Speaks.
Right.
What is it? It's a community platform, okay, which give us conversations that matter.
Right.
That's my first byline, a community platform with conversations that matter. Then I go a little deeper into saying what Queen Mother Speaks is. We're
Mm-hmm.
here to inform,
Yes.
to ignite,
Mm-hmm.
okay, to elevate. We want you to laugh.
Yeah.
We're also here to tell you about how to expatriate to Africa. So there's different aspects to what the Queen Mother Speak show is. And we also will bring on from time to time various entrepreneurs on the continent from various countries to show you that young people in Africa are on the move. Don't think for a minute that everybody's got a big belly like they like to show you on TV, that all of Africa's got big belly and they hungry and they starving. All of Africa is not like that. And yes, that does exist. So I'm not discouraging you from contributing and donating to those causes that need it. For example, we do the reusable sanitary pads. We're asking you for 10 American dollars. For the $10, the young girl will get 4 reusable pads and 2 pair of underwear. And that one kit can last for a year versus spending money every month on throwaway pads. And we're not against throwaway pads. We're just asking you to give us $10 for the disposal, for the reusable ones, so that they can soak in water, hang up and dry, and they can be used and used again. But again, going back to
You want to tell
your
them the
grant,
compelling part of
it's the
that. No,
story
no.
about it.
You want to tell them the compelling part, which is even today, though in the United States, we are enjoying education and success and no glass ceiling and powerful moves of women professionals and supporting and undergirding girls that want to go into untraditional female activities, if there is such a thing anymore. It used to be, and many people still in that generation are in control of businesses, organizations, and funding. So in different places in Africa, they don't have an income. So therefore, they don't have access to stores or sanitary items. So the girls cannot go to school, women cannot go to work, and they are homebound by what we consider a normal monthly situation being a woman. It doesn't hold any women back from being CEOs or flying fighter planes and being state highway patrolmen or anything here in the United States. But women around the world don't experience that luxury. So when we're telling that story and need funding for that project, that's going to be part of our compelling story.
You have to say, what is the impact if you do it?
Right.
And what's the impact if you don't do it?
Correct.
And in grant writing, they refer to that as the compelling story.
Yes.
The compelling story about Queen Mother Speaks is that we came into existence during the time of George Floyd, when America was killing Black men everywhere. And people were calling me saying, Queen Mother, we got to get out of here. They're killing our boys. What are we going to do? And so we came, a download from spirit. We got into Queen Mother Speaks. And what we do is we often talk about what it takes to expatriate to Africa.
Right.
And every country is not exactly the same. So it depends on where you're going. But there are some basic things that we all want to do in terms of expatriating. One, you got to get a passport. 2, wherever you're going to, you must have a visa. Different countries have different policies on visas. Some issue a visa for 30 days, visitors. Some issue for 60 days. Some issue for 90 days. It just depends on what it is you're going to that country for. So the same thing in grant writing. Tell them what is it in you that makes you want to do whatever it is you want to do. What is it? That is the compelling story, and that's what you have to communicate over to the grant writers. Back to you, Nana.
Well, and as she was saying, when they contacted her to talk about the show, we also include people who want to be tourists, people who want to open businesses or do businesses with people in Africa, and also if you want to study abroad. And what I'm asking you to do now, and I put it on the screen a little early, but that was to give you time to go to candid.org and create an account, which is free. Candid used to be the foundation center, and there were 5 locations here in the United States. And you could go in and use their resources. You can go in and take classes and training. You could go in and they help you find prestigious people to put on your board of directors. They have something called RQ, request for funding,
RFP.
Thank you.
RFP.
Request for proposals or request for funding. So I want you on your phone, your tablet, or laptop, go to https://learning.candid.org join. It is free to join Candid and get access. So your
Nana,
biggest, yes?
let's give that to them again, because what you're asking them to do right here, right now, live during the show, is to go on in and create your candid.org account.
Right. And by signing up with Candid, you can access trainings, special event, and exclusive content. So you want to keep your profile updated to receive personalized communications that are tailored to your mission or your passion. To create an account, all you need is your email address and a password. It has to be at least 6 characters. Then you fill in information about you, first name, last name, postal zip code, and your country. And Candid is the same organization that also funds projects, or they don't fund projects, but they list organizations, foundations, and individuals who will fund things around the world. So it is not just for people who are in the United States or people who are American citizens. And they have a newsletter subscription. So you also want to sign up for the Candid Learning newsletters. So they have areas for people. And if those of you out here watching want to fund projects and people, also send that information to my email, trkemp@plantationquilts.com. Candid has an area for people who want to fund organizations, individuals. You get to choose what you want to fund. You get to choose your topics of choice. But on the Candid Learning site, you will find fundraising, proposal writing, management, because just because you open a business doesn't mean you have all these skills. Governance, how to start a nonprofit transparency. That focuses on you being honest about what your nonprofit is going to do, and then how to strengthen your foundation. And you can browse with the search bar, which is an hourglass on the right-hand side of the page. So I wanted you to go and open your account during this while we're talking. And then the first class that we're going to have you take, in addition to what we're talking about here, I ask that you set aside some time, because you're going to take a class called Introduction to Finding Grants. And this is how to source grants. And we're going to go ahead and do several here while we're doing this workshop today. But I like for you to have something that you can do, that you can stop and start again. It's a free course. It takes about 1 hour to complete. In many of the Candid locations, those 5, you have to be logged in to enroll for the training. And I'm going to put the link on the show now. I think I already did, but it's faster to do it this way. When you go to Candid, this is how to, let me make sure I got the right one. Yeah. Here we go. Okay. This is the introduction to finding grants, and we're going to leave this up for a minute. We want you to go to this link, and this is the 1-hour class. When you satisfactorily complete this class at your own pace, you can take it over and over and over again, but it qualifies you for approved provider for continuing education 1.5 credit hours. And this orientation is not intended for individuals that are seeking grants for their own use. Please refer to the knowledge-based articles for individual grant seekers. So there's this first link is for organizations, businesses, and Candid has a whole section for individuals. So they have over 30 results for support for individual grant seekers. And those would be people where can I find information about financial aid as a graduate student? So I'm going to put that link up here. And we're going to put these links available on our Queen Mother Speaks page and on my page, but I wanted to make sure that I have them all in our show today, because today when we do a show, people are from all over the world and we never know their individual circumstances. So I want to make sure that I cover these links and resources that will give you access to information. Information's powerful. So you need to know how to write the grant, but you need to know how to find grants. So Candid supports individuals, startups, 501c3s, and even not-for-profit organizations. That would be somebody who's filed paperwork with the state they live in, who are a nonprofit. Now, it doesn't mean nonprofits don't make money. Nonprofits have to make money to stay afloat, but they have not filed their federal 501c3 documents with the American IRS. But they are a local not-for-profit within their state, and they're recognized as that designation. So in Africa and other countries, it's called an NGO. That would be the same as our 501c3. And then there's many, many different grants that you could be writing for. Some people are interested in the youth. Some people are interested in children, animals, agriculture, medical supplies, computers, education.
Shoes.
Yes, things for people that are enabled differently. And so whatever you're passionate about, and some things you may not even know, it may be evolving. We have found a grant that was available, and I have been posting on my social media, that if you attend a historically Black church and it needs stabilizing and needs money, they've given more now than $6 million this year to stabilize and preserve at-risk spaces. What I like about Candid is it's self-paced learning. They're videos. It's for all levels of experience. You can bring your organization. They have videos that are in Spanish. They have videos in other languages upon request. But there's so many different resources. They have a blog. They have knowledge-based learning. Hang on one second. Okay. So they have specific links for nonprofit startup resources. So I'm going to get that link now, and I'm going to add that to the screen. And I'm trying to cover a lot of ground, in a short period of time. One of my favorite sources to find grants for USA-based project is Norris Consulting. And I'm going to talk about them for just a minute. I've had this long relationship with them.
Me too, Nana.
And you know what?
Listen, I must know Norris Consulting for 20, 25 years now.
Right. Go ahead.
Yeah, and Norris Consulting is a group out of America. And what they do, they are a source for you. What they do is they find grants in different subject areas. And they will post, I don't know, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 grants in various subject areas. And you read through them. What I like about Norris is they are very detailed and they tell you a lot about the particular grant. However, you still must click on the link and go inside to find out more. But Norris, I mean, you could spend hours just going through Norris looking. Forget about what you want for a moment. Just go look and see all of the different categories of areas that are available for funding. You know, obviously you're going to go to your very own, but with Norris, you can look and see other areas of things that people are getting money for. It's exciting and it's wonderful. So NORRIS Consulting, Norris Consulting, sign up with them to receive their information about grants that are available. No. I was about to say that Norris grants are only in the US. That's not true. It depends on who it is they're talking about, that they may have grant monies available in areas outside of America, but the grant will always say, the grants will always tell you who they are for. They're say for college students between the ages of 18 and 36, and they are looking for women, or they're looking for men between the ages of 18 and 30. They were very specific about who and what they want to fund. You, my friend, just have to match the one to your specific desire. And I guarantee you it's there. I have a statement on the wall that I'm going to read for you right now. I love it. It says, there is nothing that we want, need, or desire that does not already exist. There's nothing that we want, need, or desire that doesn't always already exist. In fact, if it appears not to exist, our thought about it activates it. If it doesn't appear to exist, just our thought about it will activate it coming back into existence, right? Our thought about it manifests its manifestation. Once we recognize the truth, we can see the evidence of plenitude everywhere. All it takes is a shift in consciousness, a shift in your consciousness. So if it's something you want, it's there. And if it's not there, you're thinking about it, manifests it, and brings it into realization. So we want to ask you right here, right now, to go on and think about that, which it is that you want, and do the research, because the money is there to help you, depending on your area. But sometimes it may require you having a change in your attitude. Back to you, Nana.
You know, a lot of people say, I've done everything. I don't even know everything. I've tried a lot. Sometimes it takes you have to do it over and over. Two things that have always inspired me, and one is Heinz 57 sauce. I know many of you have seen it on the shelves. If not, go take a look at it. When you go to the grocery store, just go stand in front of it. And Heinz 57 sauce is named that because it is the 57th formula of that seasoning to pour on your food. That means they created it, tested it, tasted it, and brought it into existence 57 times. Now, Queen Mother used to always tell me it takes 30 no's to get that first yes. You all can hear her laughing and smiling because I'm the I want it right now person, just like you are. and you
Yes.
would tell me it takes 30 no's. How many
30
no's have
minimum.
you received? 30. Have I done it 30 times? No, I had done it about 4 or 5 and then was disgusted. Did you try the same person 30 times to show that you are diligent, you're persistent? Did you bring a fact to them each time you came with something new that they do that you want them to mentor you? Why you want them to mentor? Well, I'm busy. Okay, come back another day. Will you mentor me?
Yes.
No, I've got a commitment. Come back another day. Well, I found that you're an expert in this, and I would really like to follow in your shoes. Well, they don't want somebody following their shoes, so I offended them. So go try again. You got to keep going and keep coming, because when you make the phone call for the grant, and I just put up the Gates Scholarship. It's www.gatescholarship.org, and this is one of the most powerful scholarships that I know about. So now they already have their information up through 2024, March, April, and they're awarding them July through September. So the thing about scholarships and grant writing, there's an opening date for the grant. That's the date it's available. So for this year, it's July 15th for the Gates Scholarship. The deadline is September 15th, 2023. And I'm looking at the page, and I put the link up so you can take the link out of the comments and follow along if you like. So they have a semifinalist phase, December through January. Then they have finalist interviews. So with the one we gave you before, which was Norris Consulting, they have a banner, and you click on that banner, and it takes you to the scholarship application. It tells you the information that I'm telling you, which is the status. So the Bill Gates Scholarship is open. You're available to start applying as of July 15th. The deadline is September 15th to get your grant in. And when they say September 15th, you have till 11:59 on the day. Don't then call and say, oh, I'm late. No, you want to get a grant writing plan. And Queen Mother and I were talking about this because we're both good for doing things for other people that we don't do when we should for ourselves. So we just talked about that after this show, we're going to do our grant writing plan for the people with disabilities who are going to start their own program, and for some of the Queen Mother Speaks projects. And we're going to make ourselves sit down, which is hard to do, carve out some time, source the grants for Queen Mother Speaks and the projects that we're doing. We've had amazing people on our show. One gentleman who stands out to me is he came up with a machine to provide cards to give internet access to rural areas of Africa that don't have stores to provide internet access. Well, you know, we could buy internet access for schools and open up the whole world to a small town or to people who have never had internet access. So one of the questions I get asked about the Gates Scholarship is, how long is the scholarship for? Is it available to minorities? Is it available to high school seniors from low-income households? Each year, the scholarship is awarded to exceptional student leaders with the intent of helping them realize their maximum potential. Now, someone else asked me, are all scholarships only for the exceptional? And the answer is no. I just took a team of girls to Chicago, Illinois, and they participated in Girls in Geese tournament. And now I was saying karate tournament, but it was an open tournament, open to all different styles. So girls and women came from around the country and participated in an all-female tournament. And the reason we did is because they offer scholarships to average high school students who, for whatever reason, financial, emotional, deaths in the family, moving from here to there, homeless young ladies and men, people who were just average. They didn't get that high GPA. And also for women who were 35 and over that wanted to return to school. You maybe weren't a good student, or you got pregnant when you were in high school, or you dropped out of high school and you've worked and now you find for your job or advancement you need more education. So like I said, there are scholarships for everything. When you
Yes.
apply for a scholarship and they say basic eligibility, you need to see that you meet their eligibility. So for the high school students seeking a Bill Gates scholarship, you need to be a high school senior from one of the follow ethnicities: African American, American Indian, Alaskan Native, Asian and Pacific Islander, and Hispanic American. You have to be Pell, Pell, eligible, a U.S. citizen, national, or permanent resident. You have to be in good standing with a minimum cumulative weighted GPA of 3.3 on a 4.0 scale or equivalent. Additionally, a student must plan to enroll full-time in a 4-year degree program at a U.S. accredited, not-for-profit, private, or public college or university. So they said if you're American Indian or Alaskan Native, proof of tribal enrollment will be required. Then it goes on to say who the ideal candidate is: an outstanding academic record in high school or in the top 10% of his or her graduating class. They want to see demonstrated leadership ability shown through participation in community service, extracurricular activities, or other activities. And then they want you to have exceptional personal skills, emotional maturity, motivation, and perseverance. So you need to jot down and write a little bit about yourself, whether or not you're a high school student. If you're applying for a grant, we want to see a record, a track record. We want to know, what have you been doing? And during pandemic, they take into consideration, if you didn't go to school for a period of time, you just say, I wasn't in school because of illness. Some people had a death their senior year, significant. Some people were ill their senior year. This has been a very traumatic time. People were uprooted, had to move. There have been so many different things that have gone on. So you have to be honest and forthcoming with what you've been through, because that's where you're going to show that you persevered. Now, the next thing I wanted to share with you, with the introduction class in finding grants, whether you're new to grant writing or you needed a quick refresher, that's a great class for you to take. And it helps you discover what funders are looking for from your organization. And if you don't have those things, like we're saying, if you don't have a social media presence and you want to find out more about who funds nonprofits and what are their motivation, why do they want to give out money? And one of the key things that are different about my grant writing classes is that I want you to form a relationship with the funders. And we want to include the funder because they're going to ask you to prove, how are you going to use the funds? And so you're going to tell them you're going to videotape, you're going to take photos, and then you're going to invite them to come in person and take photos, because this person has somehow, it's, their heart's been moved upon to provide money for this area or topic. So we want to find out the motivation for the funder in funding and giving away their money, because money's hard to come by. So this is somebody who's very passionate about it. Maybe they're putting a scholarship in the name of their family because they had a hard time getting in college or a hard time finding money. So then they have left money behind for the next person. Have any of you ever been to the drive-through, and when you get to it to pay, they said the person in front of you has left money for you, and there's no way you can thank that person? I want you to think about leaving money behind when you get to where you're going. When you have graduated from a school, I want you to think of going back and making it a little easier for somebody who has come behind you. So then they'll say, you can develop people that are around you or in your organization with fundraising skills. You can all take the classes together or independently. So if you're an employer, you want to have people in your organization take this class because they can write 2 grants a month for you, and then they'll have the ability to fund their children going to college, do Little League baseball, do cheerleading, go on trips with their organizations, go back to school themselves, save falling structures. And I also want to make sure that you understand, because somehow there's been a disconnect, that if you take the census, the US Census, and you complete it and tell them how many people live there with you and your demographic, then they provide money for your streets, your roads, your bridges, hospitals, medical care centers, and school books. So if you don't like the way your community looks, you can get grants for beautification. You can get grants for gardening. Right now, our food sources, we call it food deserts. They're places where it's very difficult to find healthy foods. So there's money available for community gardens. And the other day I posted on my social media that they found that minority women in farming, when they applied for grants, they did not get funded. And to make up for that, there are now grants available for Black female farmers and Black farmers, period, because they received a disproportionate amount of funding. So some people have formed co-ops, some people, collaborations are important. And Dr. taught me the power of collaborations. So you want to find and align yourself with other people who are in your same area. So time just always flies. But the next thing I wanted to do is I wanted to give you this next link. And this one is for the class at Candid. It's the second one. And it's another self-paced learning class, 0 cost. And when you're going to sign up for this class, it's to do budgets. So when I did the grant writing class before, it did not include the budgets. And whether you're a startup or whether you are an experienced or a business, and they consider small businesses 9 million and under. I don't know who they got that figure from, but they now have a free training, and it is a budget writing class because you want to have a strong budget included in whatever proposal you have. We want to show, well, this is a really good one. So I'm going to give you this link first. And this is how do I write a grant proposal for my individual project. And this is one that I didn't feature in the previous training. So there's always new things coming out. Let's see, here it comes. Let's see, what did I just do with it? Here it is. There we go. So if you're an individual, you need to know the start, the finish, the purpose, who will benefit from your individual project, and be creative. Be creative. Give it some thought. Think it through. They want to know if I fund this proposal for you, how is it going to benefit? Who is it going to benefit? And the one thing I like, it says, if you don't qualify, don't apply. Don't waste their time. Don't waste your time. Approach foundations that have a demonstrated interest in your field or geographic area. So there's a whole section called Grants to Individuals. They have a searchable database of grant makers that want to fund individuals. It's available by subscription or free at the Candid Partner location. Now let's see how to get this to you. So they have a subscription. You can subscribe to the monthly or annual annual newsletters. Now, monthly, they say, is $19.95. I like free things, and it's free for you to use this grants to individuals if you go into a candid location. So let me go ahead and Google it for you. People will say, how do I find a candid location? And I just, the answer now is Google it. But Candid has a Find Us, and they have local community partners. So they have resources located near you. So get free access to the foundation directory. You can get free access to GuideStar. That is the premier nonprofit research tool. It is the largest source of verified information on nonprofits. So I'm going to put that link up to speed up your time so you don't have to search as much.
Thank you, Nana.
And I have friends who are veterans, and I did a workshop with them. And one of the things they realized when they said, how many grants are available for veterans projects? It was over 8 million. So I was working with 8 million today when you Google it. So if you want to give me an area and we search it out and assist you, we don't want to write the grants for you. I want to empower you today to be able to fish for yourself. And not just fish for yourself. I want you to empower other people in your community, or whenever that you see that something needs saving. I'm going to go now to the historical preservation, because I did want to put up that church grant program.
Now, this last one you gave us, candid.org/find us, is about what?
That is how to find things that you need, how to find a candid location so that you can go in and use their vast resources. They have everybody's 999s, which is what businesses and foundations do to, that's what they use when finding organizations that, oh my goodness, tonight is the deadline for I'm sorry to change subjects on you, for the Preserving Black Churches information. Tonight is the deadline.
All right. Well, that means they'll have to try for it next time. But I got a question about candid.org/find us.
Okay.
Now, given that, well, I'm going to go and check because they may have some online stuff for people like me who can't walk into a Candid office.
Right. That's true.
Okay.
That is a good question. Okay, so what I'm going to do, if you just heard me, when I went out to get the link, I found that the deadline for the
Black churches,
right, it's under the large topic of Saving Places Action Fund grants. And then it says African American Cultural Heritage Funds. And basically they are giving grants that range between $50,000 to, I want to say, $200,000. But today is the deadline. Oh, here you go. Savingplaces.org, Black churches. When you first go to a link, sometimes it may be one of those really, really long links, and that won't do any good because when you put it up, if you miss a character or cut it off, you can't get there. So I found those aren't helpful. But when you put up the short links like this or share short links, they're more effective. So savingplaces.org/black-churches. And that link will take you to the specific page to save a church. Now, if your church was you can go look at the eligibility, because it may have been a historic Black church, but like most of them now, it's saying, do you know a historic Black church seeking funding to strengthen its capital, staffing, and operations? Applications are now open. Then you click on the link below that. It says guidelines and eligibility. It could be a historic Black church that has changed its demographic over the years, because it can have an active congregation or a non-active congregation and advance ongoing preservation activities while strengthening the capacity for historic congregations and preservation and community organizations to steward, manage, and better utilize their historic structures. So it could have been a church, but now it's a shopping mall. But if you will put up history of that church and read and find out, be creative on how you can save that structure, the grants range between $50,000 to $200,000. And applicants can apply for one of 5 categories: capital project, endowment and financial sustainability, organizational capacity and operations, that pays your day-to-day bills, programming and interpretation. So if you want to do a program for the community or for the homeless, or for English as a second language, or if you want to do health and medical outreach or meal outreach for seniors or people who are homebound, or there's money available for project planning, because even planning a project takes funding. Yes, we've found that. You also need funding for marketing materials. And one thing we have found that I'm going to admonish you to do is not check it once, twice, or 3 times, but you want to make sure that you check it over and over and over again.
What does that actually mean, Nana?
That you could have a misspelled word in your banners or marketing material, and you sacrifice to get the marketing material to go to a program or an expo or a show for your business, or to be an artist and exhibit at a prestigious gallery, or you got in and then your phone number spelled wrong, your name is wrong, or they left out your address or email address. On any information you submit, you've got to have contact information, and you want to make sure that it's correct. Your name, your organizational name is correct, how to reach you, when to reach you, when you're available. You want as much information available as possible, because if you apply for a grant and you forget to put in correct contact information, you've wasted their time and yours. So you want to make sure that take the class. This class provides you with basic elements of a proposal, do's and don'ts when writing and submitting proposals, how to follow up, whether the answer to you getting a grant is yes or no. Then it has a 30-minute hands-on exercise to develop a proposal outline. And that's with their foundation's in-person classes. They offer in-person classes, webinars, and on-demand video training. So I've given you, let me check this one really quick, because the classes are always advancing. And I want to make sure to admonish you, when you are doing a grant from a funder, you want to go online and find sample grants, the winning proposals they posted for your review. And that's important. Let's see, what are you trying to achieve? Yeah, the first question that they ask is, what are you trying to achieve? You know, your outcomes must be measurable. It must be measurable. So they have a one grant, Introduction to Proposal Writing 1 and Introduction to Proposal Writing 2. And there's so many aspects where I've written grants many times, and sometimes when they tell you the deadline, they don't always stick to it, because business closures, funding shifts, people who are sick, someone can be out on maternity leave. So normally what I do after a grant writing class is I schedule time for whoever took the class and I to go over what they want to present. I usually set aside 30 minutes. This time I'm not going to specifically do it and set up a whole formal process. But if you're interested, then we want you to contact us. You have my email, trkemp@plantationquilts.com. Some of you have written in and told me your areas. Some of you have told me what you're striving for. And one of the other things I want to mention is at candid.org, find us. They have a map where you can put your zip code in, and they'll tell you how many locations they have or funding information network training locations. So research grants, you can get help with your funding, search or gain expertise through free trainings. And you're going to use that same link we put up, candid.org/find us. You put your zip code in, and Queen Mother in Kenya, let me just take a quick touch the map where it says Kenya. Now they have 2 in Asia, 617 in the United States, 2 in the Pacific, North Pacific Ocean, and they have, looks like 55 in one place. But they have a star in India and a star in Australia. And the stars are funding information network access location. So you can get help with your fundraising search there. So just because you're not in the United States doesn't mean that you don't have access. Oh, and something else that Candid does, it's called convening space rental. They offer affordable convening spaces for social sector organizations. So if you need someplace to meet that's not going to cost your arm and leg, and your small organization doesn't want to pay utilities and things, then they have a list of places that you can use. All right. So today we've covered grants for individuals, grants for artists, grants for nonprofits, grants for startups, and grants for businesses, ideas and tips on where you can go to find and access information. So Queen Mother, do you have any
Yes.
questions for me?
I don't have any questions. I want to thank you for reviewing all of the things that we have covered today. I know people are coming in and going out at different times, but as Nana has stated, by you simply sending her an email, she'll be able to direct and help you further. Nana, thank you so much for these exciting workshops. For last week, I got a lot of interest. This week, I also got a lot of interest. So, whatever questions you may have, put them to us.
Yeah.
Put them to us in our social media platforms, and we will respond. Now,
Oh,
next week.
Queen Mother, before you go, one of the things that I typed in our chat, but I didn't show it, it says you need matching documents. You know, somebody had said they needed help in Haiti. I rallied all the troops. A parent that played tennis with my children. He had a church that was going on a mission trip and taking supplies to Haiti after the earthquake. And I did my elevator speech and got funding for these children that were in an isolated location that were starving. And then I do my research. So I put the photos that he sent me in on Google. Those pictures came up in Africa of children who were starving, not Haiti. When I called the gentleman and said, okay, he called me back and said, okay, we have money for him. Send me the method of how the money's going to be how he can receive the money. Send me his name, his city, and he then had to tell me I needed to send the money to this name. I said, can't do it. I'm sending the money to the name you gave me and the address. He said, oh, but ma'am, I will not receive it. I said, then there's no money coming for you. Be honest on who you are. Be honest on the cause you're asking for funding. Make sure you have legal name and government issued identification and business papers for your business to be in good standing. If you're an artist, have a presence online. The most important thing is honesty, because not only do you make it bad for yourself, you then make it bad for others. When I have funded projects in import and export to Africa, and I told them in the beginning, please don't lie to me. Please be honest. If you cannot deliver, don't do it, because I won't do business with you ever again. They're pleading, begging, oh, Nana, communicate with me. Oh, you're like my mom. Well, consider your mom died if you have cheated me and did not do what you said you were going to do with the money. I don't want to be that type of family member. So again, we thank you for tuning in. We're going to be doing tracing vanishing memories. And this is a subject that's dear to me, which is why we ended on saving places. There's monies available. If you did something, someone you know participated or did something, or your community has some special aspect to it, we want to know about it. If you don't find your community or your family's participation in history, it's because you haven't written it, or somebody else didn't have enough details, time, or knowledge on how to do it. We've got to save memories, and especially since we had over 600,000 people that were taken from us during COVID. Maui and Hawaii, they have their business sector is gone. Historic buildings are gone. And if somebody doesn't preserve the memories, they just had an earthquake and a storm in California.
Yes, and for our friends and associates who live in California, we stretch out our hands to you, and we send you peace.
Yes.
We send you love.
Yes.
We send you comfort. And we pray that each of you have been found, that you found your loved ones, and you've been able to find your way to a safe space.
And Hawaii and wherever you are in the world, know that you are not alone. And that's another reason we do Queen Mother Speaks and other projects that we participate in, because if you've ever felt alone, you know that it's important to have a place where you can reach out and someone hears your cry. And if you don't reach out to when somebody is crying for help, then when you need help, that's one of my favorite sayings, there'll be nobody to come to help you.
Well, I had a young lady today, Nana, to reach out to me, and she was asking about help for children who attend schools for youth and disability. And she was saying even though the children are in school, the parents had not been paying the fee. And if the fees aren't paid, then the school can't continue. So she was just asking me if I knew of anybody with money that would be willing, to give money over to the school, because she said the parents don't work and they need so much help. So I wrote back, and I was asking her to really define specifically the area that she's speaking of. And she said it was for people with disability. There's a lot of different disabilities. Which one are you speaking of? And I said, go online and have a look. And I did tell her about the workshop tonight.
Okay.
I don't know if she came in, but I will send her the link for her to go in and find the grant, that she can find for the school. And I felt compelled to send her a prayer.
Yeah.
Which I did, to let her know that I wasn't just trying to flake her off. So once again, thank you for tuning in to
wait a
the
minute.
Queen Mother Speaks
Let me go ahead
show.
and address that. So when you write in, we don't need to know just school fees. We need to know the name of the school, how much are the school fees, when are the school fees due, who should the school fees be paid to. We need to know who, what, when, and where.
Who, what, why, when, and where. The 5.
Right.
Who, what, why, when, where.
Right. So who do the school fees need to be paid for? Names, ages, city, school name. Why? And she said, because parents aren't working. Okay. So we need to
Parents don't
know.
have jobs, so we don't have income, so they
Right.
can't pay the fees. But the school needs to be paid so it can keep the children in school.
Right. And
And they
that can
need
also
monies
come
also for food because you can't have a child in school all day with no food. Doesn't
right.
work.
Now, for those of us in America and those of you tuned in from America, Africa is a totally different animal when it comes to school. I found out
And
that children
funding.
with disabilities
Hmm.
um, have a struggle. There may not be a smooth terrain getting to the school. There may be
Hmm.
routes and a wheelchair can't pass by. It may be a small rickety bridge over a creek to get to the school, and a wheelchair can't navigate it. It's not wide enough. If the child needs glasses, the parents may not realize that the children don't have eyeglasses or need
Hmm.
eyeglasses. And if the child is a genius, sometimes they think that it's witchcraft.
Hmm.
And child in rural areas could be too advanced or whatever. So we still need so much help, but we've got to have
Yes, we
more
do.
details than just a child needs school fees. I've purchased books before. Queen Mother's taken eyeglasses and donated them, and I've taken glasses and donated. So Christine, I'm sending her an email because I put up the comment that she's tried that email before and it doesn't go through. Now, if I don't answer, that didn't mean it didn't go through. So today I'm following the show. I'm going to send her an email. And also I'm sending Estelle, who also wrote into me, an email. So I do know that that email works. I had went to it before the show, but I will find your email and respond to it. I do have thousands of emails because I have 9 Facebook pages. I have 3 Instagram, 2 Twitter. And by the way, Queen Mother, Twitter is now just the X. I haven't slowed down
Yeah,
enough
I've
to find
seen
it.
that, and I've seen that, but I wasn't sure what that was. And I
Yes,
think it was our intern Maurice who told me now Twitter is simply X.
correct. And some people tried to reach me on TikTok. I don't currently have a TikTok account because I don't have enough space to put in TikTok. So please forgive me. I'm making advances and learning as fast as I can. So I'm only doing 2 in-person engagements. So I'm coming back off the road and I am sore and exhausted. Just got my voice back in time to come to you today. But please give us a
Yes.
couple of days to respond, but we will be responding as quick as possible. So we
Okay.
always in Queen Mother Speaks show the same way, and we'd
With
like you to
love.
join with love. So take your
Left
right hand,
hand,
left
left
hand,
hand first. Left hand
mm,
first.
left hand first,
Yeah.
because everybody needs
Right
some
hand.
love. Right hand. Mm. Now show us that you mean it with both hands. Mm. Mm. So know that we love you and appreciate you wherever you are in the world. Know that there's funding and support, and email us, Queen Mother Speaks Facebook page, Mrs. Teresa R. Kemp Facebook page. Google my name, Teresa R. Kemp. We
Mhm.
appreciate you and love you.
See you
Daktari,
next week.